She is the one that received the letter about, I'll have to call him Grandpa Prescott, I hope you don't mind. And she is healthy, but is too frail to make the trip. I live 3 hours away in the Western Catskills and was absolutely delighted to come tonight. My mother did email me, however, a little message called Remembering MSP, Maurice S. Prescott. She says, my memory of the alumni banquet was as a junior in high school. We were given the privilege of assisting waiting on table. I had the job of refilling coffee cups and mistakenly poured coffee down the music teacher's back. But about Dad, Maurice S. Prescott. He often discussed school affairs with Audra Hadley, superintendent of schools, a frequent guest at our house to play bridge while awaiting the arrival home of some of his children. Those were the years when only single women were hired because married teachers had husbands to support them. Many teachers roomed at the Thomas House, the local hotel. Bridge parties were the social life in those Depression years. The only place movies were shown was in the Grange Opera House next door to the blacksmith shop. I'm not sure this is what we mean by community service, but with 4 children he hoped to be able to send to college. He was most concerned that we had good schools. We had a teacher who came to the grade classrooms to teach us to read music and sing. She also taught art. Everyone in town was invited to our school dances, and the adults came and danced. Basketball was another big event in local life. Our games and rivalries supported by big attendance. I believe there was postgraduate work offered to those who would be teachers. My mother taught at one of the one-room grade, all grades in one room, east of Lacona, to earn money to go to Syracuse University for a year. Dad went to Cornell for a year and then worked for E.M. Hastings at what later became the Holstein-Friesian World, when E.M. left to be an ambulance driver in the World War in Europe. I would also like to say that my Aunt Pat, who is about to become 97, is still with us. And I talked a little bit with her daughter this morning. She said that she remembers walking a mile to school, a mile home for lunch, a mile back to school, and another mile back at the end of the day, which perhaps tells me why they're in such good shape and living such good lives. I just have a few little memories myself that I'd like to share. I grew up in San Francisco with my brother, and every summer that we were going to Sandy Creek, we so looked forward to it. We wanted to spend time with our favorite cousins, Patty, Mark, and Joel Hastings, Marty, John, Peter, Prescott, and we would stay at the home of our wonderfully gracious grandmother and grandfather, Prescott. They housed us, and I don't recall ever seeing Grandpa Prescott without a smile or at least a twinkle in his eye. And I must say this, that I came to his funeral here in Sandy Creek a number of years ago, and my Aunt Pat says she remembers looking into the casket. It was an open casket funeral, and she swears that he winked at her and smiled. And he may have. He was most somber when contemplating a play and the nightly game of bridge he would play with Grandma and my parents. Grandpa was extremely tolerant of the games of bumper cars that we played with the balls on his pool table. We had wonderful family suppers, but some of the most special times for me were having bread, milk, cheese, and a banana, a lunch, alone with Grandpa in the kitchen. I was a shy child, and he was friendly and kind to me. Grandma and Grandpa had a big lawn on East 1st Street, and we kids hooted and hollered till dark. We caught fireflies, something a San Francisco kid had never seen. It is with real pleasure that I am here to accept this award on his behalf tonight.